Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more Prison Architect. And I'm going to be starting a brand new series. And this series is going to be inspired by the film The Fortress. Now, it's been a while since I've seen The Fortress, so I would say loosely based off of The Fortress. But the idea behind The Fortress, from what I remember, it's like a science fiction dystopian future prison where the prison is very super oppressive. Now, from what I remember of that prison, it had both male population and female population, although segregated. We're going to make it a male population as the main character, played by Christopher Lambert, if I remember correctly, is obviously a man, so we'll do male population here. And for the warden, I think I'm going to use Rita here, who's ruthless and terrifying. Rita has a reputation for running her facilities through judicial application of fear. Rumors of her carrying a whip may be exaggerated. So she has the likelihood of prisoners being stoical or fearless, and prisoners are suppressed twice as quickly. Now, the whole idea behind this prison is not only we're going to use the money from the last prison, which is going to be $570,000. As you can see, there's the old prison's valuation over here just before I sold it. So it's going to be a bigger prison, and we might as well just change that right now to large size. I'm going to go with a super oppressive route. So we're not going to give the prisoners any recreation or anything that you would put in a normal prison. This is mostly going to be running through just cracking down in force to keep the prisoners in line. Whether or not that will work, we'll have to see. So we have Fog of War, generate forests. The forests aren't really particularly going to matter, but if we were being true to the film, I believe the prison was in pretty much the middle of nowhere in a wasteland, so I'm going to remove the forests. I'm not going to have any buildings, failure conditions. I could keep on. I don't know if this is true to the film either. I mean, in the film, there's an uprising of the prisoners, and the prison, they end up taking over the prison and beating the bad guys, which is the warden and all that. But I also don't know if gangs would be appropriate. Maybe it would be, because if I remember correctly in the film, there was like a resistance movement, so we could classify the gangs as like known resistance members. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And maybe there's rivalries between the different resistance groups. Yeah, okay, I think gangs would make sense in that context. Whether events would be appropriate or not, I'm not exactly sure. Weather and temperature, well, this is, in the wasteland, so it'd pretty much, I think, be like more a desert climate, but I'm not going to worry about that. Unlimited funds, I'm definitely not going to do. And I think this will probably be okay. Again, maybe I should do events. Yeah, okay, we'll do events just to have a little bit more fun. Again, it might break the theme, but I think it might be fun to just try it out. But yeah, okay, so the entire idea here is to run by oppression. And I'm going to go ahead and pause things here and just save the prison up that I have, and I'll be returning. All right, now that I have loaded in and then saved the prison, we can start on the planning. So I'm going to take a different strategy than I have in the past with the way that I have built my prisons, and I think the extra cash we're going to have is going to help. So let's first start by turning off the intake, so we don't have any prisoners coming in, because I'm not ready for that yet. And let's take some grants so we have some extra money. So I'm going to do Basic Detention Center, gives me 20K up front, and then we'll take something that gives me, I'm going to have to go with, I think, the Administration Center, because it's the only other thing that gives me upfront money. The Staff Wellbeing gives me completion bonus, but not upfront cash. All right, so we got 25,000 extra cash, with 30,000 being a normal start, and then 570,000 above that. All right, so now let's do the planning. So what I'm going to start with is an outer wall, and I'd like to figure out where the midpoint of this wall is going to be. So I'm just going to draw off here and get my wall kind of where I want it to be. So I want the wall to be roughly 4 away from the perimeter here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go. And then let's go ahead and draw off here. Draw off here. And see how long this thing is. Alright, I'm going to have to probably position the camera so I can see the number. I can't quite make out here. Probably going to be hard to read. All right, so let's bring that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back. So 152. So with 152, that should be 76 down, right? For the middle. And just make sure I did my math correctly there. I'm kind of doing this in my head quickly. Yeah, that should be the middle. So we'll cut off there and there for our door. All right, and this was just a guideline. There we go. All right, so there's our central point. I'm probably going to need to move the deliveries around, so let's go ahead and do that. Deliveries. Put it a little bit of ways from there. I'm going to be doing a lot of construction, so I'm going to make the deliveries pretty big here, but probably change that later. Make it smaller later. Okay, so there is the start of the front end of the outer wall, so I'm just going to need to come in and finish the rest of the wall here. And I could probably do this pretty easily. Well, I don't want to ruin the... I guess it'll be okay. So we'll just go in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back. You know what? That's going to be too hard to hold, I think. We'll just do that, and then we'll erase this line. And that should get the wall how I want it. Just check the numbers here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm going to do another wall inside of that wall. So we'll come off here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in. And 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Then we'll do the back wall. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So one over. Okay. This is the back wall. And then I'll just link that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that looks good. Link the two walls together. And cut out the door space. And there is the inner wall. So we got an outer wall, an inner wall, and then the actual facility itself. And this is where my strategy is going to be different. I'm going to build, rather than a bunch of separate buildings, I'm going to make one centralized building, because I feel like that's a little bit more realistic for what I'm going for. So I'm going to come over here and figure out the planning of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and away. And we'll come up, do half the wall here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and away. So 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's good. And then over here, again, we'll do the back wall. So 1, 2, 3, 4 over. 1, 2, 3, 4 in. That should be correct. Good. All right. Go ahead and just link these things together. And we'll have main facility. I'll just make a reference point down here. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 over. 1, 2, 3, 4 up. All right, that should be correct. Like it is. Now we can bring those together. As a matter of fact, that would have been the easier way to do it. Is like that. All right, well, you learn as you do. Okay, so there we go. So there's our inner facility. But I'm going to need a central courtyard, or the yard overall. So I'm going to have to figure out the central point of this bigger building here. So we've got, like that says 157. And 157, okay. That's an odd number then that I'm working with. So we need... my math is failing me here. I think we need Was it 78 or 9 for the middle? We'll find out here. So 79, and then what do we have here? 78. So 79 is the middle, right? That means we have 78 on either side at that point. Yeah, okay, so that's the middle. I'll go ahead and draw some other guidelines here. Hope I did my math correctly on that. So far, it seems correct. Yeah, okay. So then I want, off of here, if I go 20 back, right, and then another 20 back this way, I should keep it even, right? And then I can just delete these walls. And then go 20 up, cross, and touch. And there we go. That looked like a sufficiently large yard. And does it look centralized? Well, there's one way I can find out. If we go off of this point here, what is the distance? Got 64. Okay. And if we come off of this point, 65? Is that correct? 65. And here, 64. Probably going to be tough because I have this too wide passageway here of getting this to line up perfectly. That's kind of weird, though. I was going off of even numbers. Why is it an odd number now? What is the distance here? Yeah, it's coming out as an odd number. Well, I guess it's because there's a difference of 5, right? It's not actually 4. It's 4 space, but it's 5 for the wall, right? So maybe I've actually reduced it down to an odd number. That's a little problematic. I would have preferred to keep things even numbers. But I guess it's not the end of the world. In any case, we've got 64 on that side and 65 on the other side. What is the distance from here, then? If we do it this way. Got 59, right? And then we've got over here also 59. I'm trying to think, is there a way I can do this that makes it more even? Because what I ideally like is, if we keep this all the same, I'd like the same kind of distance off here. So if I come down, all right, let's see this again. So it's 59 to this wall. So I want also this 59 from this wall, right? We're trying to make it kind of equidistant. Oh wait, that wouldn't work, would it? Because we'd be way up here. Alright, so there's no way to really centralize this whole thing, is there? So I think this is probably will do. It's not perfect. And I could probably make it a little bit better here. Because at the moment, we're 66 to the wall here. And I'm, what, 65 to the wall up here? Yeah. What I could do, just to try and even things out a little bit, is just bring the wall back like that. Why is that? Oh, never mind. All right. I guess that will work. So this will be the central courtyard where we build the yards. Or maybe just singular yard. Okay, so I think we have the foundation more or less planned out. I think it's time to build it. And this is going to be really expensive. Which is why I'm probably not going to build the perimeter walls yet, because those are going to be also very expensive. And I don't think we need these guidelines anymore. Alright, well, I think foundation time. So, come in here. And this is the 2.0 version of the game, which I have note since last I played, definitely the user interface has improved. So that was 91,000 there. Probably the most efficient way of doing this is coming across here. Oop, not quite. I'm trying to keep it level. There we go. I'm going to have to do this all in one go so that the foundations are all part of the same structure. Okay. And it does look like they've fixed some things I had issues with. I was taking a look here, and no longer is a visitation booth in utilities, which really threw me off in my earlier playthrough. It is now in with the objects along with the table, which it should have been in the first place. Okay, now I have to get the doors. So large jail door. And I never really paid close attention to what the patch notes were for this current version of 2.0. And as a matter of fact, the last version that they're going to release, from what I understand, at least official version. But I am very pleased with the improvements. So I only have 189,000 left to build everything with. Might as well speed things along here. Now, I only have the basic workforce going here, and this may take more than that, but I'm a little hesitant to hire more staff because it will cost me money. But I think I have no choice here unless we want this to last forever. Oh, the staff menu's different as well. It looks like only the things that are unlocked are being shown, which actually cleans things up a little bit. How about the rooms? Have they cleaned that up? Maybe not. I still feel like it's a little all over the place. I mean, I guess it's in some kind of sorting, but I would have preferred maybe an alphabetical sort or something like that, although I guess you could always type in the search to find what you're looking for. Alright, so while these guys are doing their thing, the next thing I need to plan for is the utilities themselves. Where am I going to want to put the utilities? I could put them across the street, which would maximize my usable space here. But then I'd have to route everything across the street. Or I could put them in the building itself. You know, I think I'm going to try the strategy of putting them across the street. And I'm probably going to do 2 power setups. I'm going to do... Well, you know what? Actually, before I even think about that, let me look at the utilities here. So, the power station is what? 3x3, it looks like? Do I have enough room, if we go to planning, to fit it across the street? So, we've got 3x3. Oh, yeah, it looks like it will fit, because then you have the room around it for the different... what do they call it? Superconductors or whatever? Capacitors, not superconductors. So I think that will work, I guess, the across the street thing. And I'll have power for both the south and north side of the facility because you can't mix 2 power things together unless, again, they fix that, which I'm not sure if they did or not. All right, well, you know what? I'll try that, and then I'll put the... water roughly in the middle. It's not going to be perfect, but there we go. And then we'll put the power station right about there. And go ahead and get rid of this planning. All right, I think that's probably a cost and space effective way of doing things because my concern with this facility is we're only going to have what room we have inside, and once that room runs out, we're pretty much done. So I don't want to take up any space on the inside here. It also makes it harder for the prisoners to get to the power and water stations. Granted, I don't know if there's anything they can do to them. I guess light them on fire or something like that. But I'm fairly certain if I had built the perimeter wall, we'd be out of money at this point. So I'm just going to have to take things a little bit slower. We might not need that outer wall until later. When I first get my initial prisoner intake, we'll probably be okay without it. And then as I get money in, maybe I'll build it in. We'll have to see. But at least planning it there and putting it there. And that's probably going to be how a lot of things in this facility works. I'm just going to plan out the future, but maybe not necessarily build the things until later. Speaking of planning out the facility, I think that's something we can do while we wait for the structure to be built, which I think will probably take quite a while. Kind of funny seeing this guy zigzag across here. A lot of ground to cover. All right, so if we do something where we kind of have like maybe main pathways that come off like this, then I can divert other pathways that come off of that pathway, and we can divert things kind of around the prison, but maybe we have like this central pathway. Now, whether or not we'd want to base too much along this central pathway for traffic concerns might be an issue. But let's say we come to the halfway point here, which is looking like, what, 25 plus, would that be 28? Sometimes it's... Okay, so 29 it looks like is the midpoint. So this would be the midpoint here. And we're going to need a 2-path. Yeah, this odd numbers are going to mess with me. So this would be the central point here, but I'm going to have to build like that if I want to... No, this might not be giving me enough space to actually build the rooms, or maybe I'm overdoing the space. But I could do something like this, where I have like main pathways that go across, and then kind of link up, and then maybe we go with smaller pathways branching off to get to the different areas. Might be a good way to plan this out. And we do something similar over here. So what was it, 29 to get across? At least that's assuming that this is the same distance. Yeah, okay. So 29, so that's the midpoint. And then, how did I do that? Did I do it more towards the outside or the inside? We've got 27 on this side and 26 on this side. So I went more towards the middle. Yeah, so I need to cut there. And then this would be another main central pathway. Like that. Again, I don't know if this is efficient use of space. I'm going to have to see, and this is where a lot of the planning is going to come in, on whether or not this is going to be the best use of my space or not. At the meantime, I've just built my facility, and now I have to figure out how I'm going to use the space. And then we're going to want another pathway that comes off. So let's say we find another central point here. It looks like 63. Is that what that says? Okay, so 63. 32 would be the middle, I'm guessing. Let's see if I'm right. Oh. Not even close. Maybe I read that number wrong. Yeah, seeing 63. Half of 60 is 30. Yeah, 32 was correct. Maybe I just screwed up the... Okay, and then I'll cut it like that, maybe. Then we'll go like this. Cross. And across. And All right, let's now figure out down here. So we need, what's the number here? Could be 63, no, 64. So this is for sure going to be 32. And then that and that would be the corridor. All right. So these could be the main pathways in the prison. Whether or not I want these paths here, I'm not sure. Oh, we didn't build this over here. Or at least plan for it. Floppy lines. Okay. So if this is the initial plan of how things are going to work, I'm going to need cell blocks. And I think the way I'd like to set them up, from what I can remember of the movie, they would be more dormitories rather than cells, individual person cells. Which is a little bit more dangerous because you're putting prisoners together. And if I remember correctly, from what I remember in the movie, again, it's been years since I've seen it, they would have been, as part of the quick build, probably something like the shared cell that we see here, where we've got 2 bunk beds and then the 1 toilet. I might even put 2 toilets in there. I'm not exactly sure. But it'd be something probably closer to this, although I'm not exactly sure if I would make it exactly this size. So if I were to design the cells, probably how I would design them would be something like, so we've got the bed takes 2 spaces. All right, let's say we made it that size. I could put bed here, bed here. Let's do the objects here. So we have bed here, bed here. Okay, maybe I don't want quite... Maybe I want it 1 longer than that. So... So bed there, and then toilet in the middle, like that. And then you have your door. So door in, toilet, bed, bed. So that is what size? 7 by 4. Okay, with that given, how's the foundation building going? We're getting there. I also don't want to have the cell blocks towards the edge, if I can help it. But that at least gave me an idea of what kind of size we want. So let's say we've got this 7 by 4 idea, right? How many of those can I fit in here? With what space we have. And then I can adjust the space to be more efficient. Okay, and then if we make it, let's say we'll give it 2 pathway like that. I mean, maybe this would have been the better way to draw things out rather than give me these central pathways, but at least it gives me an idea. Oh, wow, those lights are consuming a lot of money. Of where I want things to be. They haven't put the utilities in yet? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. I'm going to slow things down a little bit now that they've got part of the foundation built. Kind of weird. I would have expected the other part of the foundation to be finished, but not quite. And we have a space for 2. Do 7 by 4. You know, I'm doing it that way. I could put these two together, right? Let's back up here a little bit. Just do it like that. That makes more sense. Base-wise. And then we give two to another area of 7x4s. Why is this off? This is off because I drew it wrong. And because I drew that wrong, this is off. Okay, let's try that again. We're going to want another that, and then we just go across. So, and then we give them two. All right, so some slight adjustment of the paths, and I think we can get this to be a little bit more efficient. So we bring this path up a little bit. And the other one either in or out to allow more cells. Either one would work. So let's say we bring this pathway down. Like that. And we'll make adjustments to this. Correspond with that change. I'm not going to change the other hallways yet until I know what this is going to look like. And then, as I said, I either go this way, which would look like that, or I bring this in, and we have the hallway come off like that. Either one would work. And, ooh, there goes our power. And I guess I might as well hook up the capacitors here as well. Or at least a few of them. Oh, it doesn't let me come over here? Well, that was a mistake. We're going to have to redo this then. Shoot. Can I build on the sidewalk? Let me see. Will it let me build on the sidewalk? Yes, it will. Okay, I'll just have to bring it over. So we'll dismantle this. The power station can stay where it is. And then we'll move it. All right, that was a little bit of a mistake. All right, I think this is a good point to actually put a cut in the video. So we're getting planning going. And I'm pretty happy with the state of the prison. Money's a little bit low, but I think we'll be able to at least get one cell block done with what money's there. In any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.